Welcome to Transforming the Trades, the podcast where we empower you to take charge and innovate your business. Whether you're a plumber, electrician, or any other trade professional, this show is designed to give you the tools and strategies you need to succeed. Sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to take your business to the next level with Transforming the Trades.
Hey, Danielle. Thanks for joining Transforming the Trades. It's our initial season. Exciting. Believe it or not, we've got several recordings. We've got recordings up through March, which is kind of amazing. But
Wow.
Transforming the Trades is all about where we are going, not where we have been. And first thing I want to do is I want to kick it off. I want you to introduce to our audience who you are, who's your company, what do you guys do? And then we're going to start to talk about a conversation you and I had a few weeks ago. Okay. So go ahead and tell us your information.
Thanks. Hey, Lynn, thanks for having me. It's great to be here today. My name is Danielle Putnam. I am the president of the New Flat Rate. We do menu pricing for home service providers. So we're the number one price generating software program. So when you're out in the home and you need to present pricing and options, good, better, best to the homeowner, we automatically do it for you. And we work with contractors all over the US and Canada. We're having a really great time. Lynn, we've been in business for, not that it matters, but 12 years. And it's just 12 years of great learning, right? And so I'm really looking forward to 2024, looking forward to all the new technologies out there that we all get to work with. And it's exciting. We're having a good time, a good season over here at the New Flat Rate.
Awesome. So, what I want to share with our audience is you were driving to Tallahassee to go to a football game and you were sick as a dog, girl. And we started talking about a brief for our podcast today, and you shared with me something that you had as a personal journey. And we discussed how that could be relevant to others, especially in these times when we are looking at change from every direction that we go. So I'm going to ask you to, without that head cold, tell us all about what that personal journey was about. Tell me how that is relevant. Yes.
You were awesome to actually listen to me through my sniffles. So thanks for that. I'm glad to be on the other side. As an entrepreneur, Lynn, I know you can so relate with this. Life and business is the same. So we learn one thing on one side of the coin, we flip it over and we apply it to the other side of the coin. And we live and breathe everything business. It's just all in one. And I say that to say I have lost 14 pounds. And it's relevant because I've never lost 14 pounds in my life. So sure, I have had 4 babies, and after the baby, you lose the baby weight. And okay, all the men on the podcast are being like, what is she even talking about? How does this apply to business? But baby weight wasn't the same thing as, 10 years into marriage, I'd put on some pounds, didn't really realize it. And so in January this year, I said to my personal trainer, I said, hey, I'd like to lose 15 pounds by March. And my trainer looks at me and she says, you can't do it. I was like, what? What do you mean you can't do it? Like, it was a real hard, cold slap in the face of, it can't be done, Danielle. And I'm like, well, sure it can. I can set a goal just like anybody else. She's like, no, I know you. I said, well, what do you mean? She says, you eat too much cake. I'm like, what? She says, you do. You self-sabotage. She says, you have a stressful life. You've got, you're running your business. You've got all your kids. You've got a lot going on. She says, in the evening, when you need a break, you get a piece of cake and you eat that whole thing, don't you? I was like, yeah, all the time. She was like, I know, you can't lose 15 pounds by March. I was like, all right. So I decided, well, I'm just going to try anyway. And it did not work, Lynn. Come March, I had not lost a pound and, nothing had changed. And I was still eating my cake and, still going to the gym. So fast forward to July of this year. And in July, finally, I was like, she was right. I failed. I could not lose this 15 pounds. It's too much. It's too hard. I decided to start getting addicted to winning. And how could I do that? So I went to my bathroom mirror and I took a Sharpie and I wrote my weight and the date. And this was in July. And I was really honest. I was like, this is exactly what I weigh today, no matter who sees this. So every Monday at lunch, I decided to start weighing on the same scale every week to see if I could just lose a pound. Just this week, I'm going to lose 1 pound. So come that next Monday, I went and I weighed on the scale and I had lost 1 pound. All of a sudden, I had the dopamine. I call it dopamine of baby step success. the dopamine of the feel good hormone of, oh my gosh, I can do this. I just won at something. And so the next week, my goal was, hey, you know what? I'm going to win again. I'm going to lose another pound. And all I did, I went cold turkey. Everybody's got their own pathway in life, but I cold turkey, just quit cake and quit desserts. I was like, done. So here I am now. I've lost 14 pounds. I have 1 pound to go. And I'm now addicted to this new style of life for me. I don't eat cake. Halloween last week, didn't eat any candy, could care less about it, don't even think about it. Whereas you're talking about somebody that was always addicted to sugar, wanting chocolate all the time. Now I don't even think about it. You couldn't pay me to eat a candy bar because I don't want that 15 pounds back. I'm addicted to the success of every week getting on that scale and, oh, this is fun. Like I'm going in the direction that I want. So long story short, Lynn, I've begun to apply that same principle into my business and with friends and their businesses, encouraging them, saying, hey, instead of setting these goals that you may or may not reach, right? We have our annual goals, our monthly goals, our weekly goals, our stretch goals. And if we don't meet them or reach them, sometimes there's repercussions, sometimes there's not. But instead of doing that, how can we get addicted to winning? Like, what could we set in our business that we could win at today? It can be a small thing, but that winning feels so good. It releases a chemical hormone in our body, and all of a sudden we want more of that. So I am in this vein, Lynn. I'll take a breath there so that you can chime in and I can stop talking. But I'm really in that vein of how can all of us get addicted to winning and the baby steps of dopamine success?
So there's a couple of takeaways I'd like to add on here. So coach told you, no way, can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't change your habits. You're a slave to cake. You said, I cannot be a slave to cake if I want to win. If I want to do this, I got to give up cake. You gave up cake. So often in business, one of the things I hear is that's the way we've always done it. It's not, it's not necessarily the right way, but it's just the way we've always done it. And so that was Danielle's, that's just what you always said. When you got stressed, you sat down and ate cake. You said, oh no, there's got to be another way. And you chose a different way. The other thing that I think is very relevant in this conversation about change and pivot is that what you were doing doesn't necessarily win for the future.
Hmm.
And what I'm seeing a lot of in this space, I always call it a Pied Piper industry. Somebody does it, somebody follows. Somebody does it, somebody follows.
Yeah.
And so, by the way, you could be following a mundane or a losing strategy and you wouldn't know any different because you don't necessarily maybe immediately understand that there's going to be a win and there's going to be a loss. Because one of the things I see often, we'll look at or discuss with a client maybe their financial performance and I go, well, it's not very good. Well, what does you mean it's not very good? What does that mean? And often they're reflecting on what you just said, and that was their goal. Well, I had a goal. I had a monthly goal of X, or I needed to do this, and I didn't get it done because this got in the way, or whatever. And the conversation that changes for me is that, okay, but how do you win? What's a win for you? Right? So maybe you didn't have that goal. You didn't hit that mark for sales goal, but you got 90% there. What is wrong with that win? Right?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and that, I believe that's what you're talking about. And what we as business owners sometimes stress ourselves over is what somebody else did
All the time.
all the time. We're constantly comparing ourselves to our competitors or our colleagues. Interestingly enough, we as women, what do we compare all the time? Our weight.
All the
All the
time.
time. We're always looking at it and going, you know what? She's skinnier than me. She looks better in that dress than I do. Your case, she had 4 kids. She lost her baby way better than I did. Darn it. And so, but we are very, we are in our head. It's our head voice, right? That's constantly poking at us, I believe. And
Well, it is. We have to change that message because, I with this journey in particular, what I always tried to do, what I always did was run. oh, I'm going to eat cake, but I'm going to go running. I can run 5 miles tomorrow because to justify what I wanted to do, the bad habit, right? And so we throw things at it and come, years later down the road, 4 kids and, however old I am, I don't have the time and I don't have the margin to go run 5 miles every day. So I can't do that. But what things in our business have we always been doing that's just not going to get us there anymore? So I didn't have to run. Instead, I had to change my eating.
Correct.
So there's something else that we can change. All of a sudden, you get better results. You're like, holy heck, how did I not know about this before? Or how did I not listen to others that were doing this before, right? Why am I so late to the game of, oh, just don't eat cake. You don't have to run. Sold.
Well, and I think it's largely because the masses are goal oriented.
Hmm.
Another one I just would relate is, often top line sales are the virtue of success. I would argue not necessarily. It's really profit. So there's no saying that, sales are vanity, profit is sanity. So often I engage with operators and they are focused on how they can grow their top line revenue. It's a constant conversation. I need to add more techs. In fact, I'll say often, listen, tell me how many service techs do you have? Well, I have 5, but I think I'm going to be 7 by the end of the year. And it's like,
Right?
it's a common conversation. So they've already
Yeah.
predetermined that that's the goal. They don't know if that's a winning strategy, but that's the goal because somebody else is doing it.
So key what you just said. They want to add 2 more techs. They don't even know if it's a winning strategy because they don't know where they are today. Right.
Correct.
And we can talk all day long about the importance of knowing your numbers, and so many of us don't. So it's not a judgment. It's, hey, before the end of the year, before going in through first quarter or whenever you're listening to this, we have to know where we are today. So are those 5 techs that you have, are they running as efficiently as they can?
Right.
If not, let's win with those 5. Let's make them maximizing their potential on every service call, their daily truck revenue. What is it? What can it be? Can we get some wins? Can we get that daily truck revenue up just a little bit and win with our 5 before we look at adding the 7? Because when we add the 7, we're just growing our problems. I heard a episode or a video 2 weeks ago by Alex Hermosi. It was a lot of F words for 9 in the morning for me, but I was like, whatever. Some people are okay with it. But anyway, what he says on there that was so cool is he says, instead of the new, because as entrepreneurs, we're always like, oh, let me try something new. Let me throw 2 more texts at it. Let me try something new. He's like, quit with the new and just write your list of shoulds. What should I do? Because if you would fix the shoulds in your business 2 years from now, you're going to have a great business.
Correct.
How true is that?
It's so
let's
true.
Should.
It's so true.
Yes, let's just fix the efficiencies that we have. Let's win with what we have in front of us. Fix the holes, fix the bleeds, all the hemorrhaging. And then all of a sudden we can look up, our profit will be way better and we can be all smiles without the 2 extra techs.
A whole lot happier in our hearts and in our minds.
Yes.
And so would your culture would bloom from that as well. But I see this constantly. I do see where we're always chasing that top line, top line, top line. It's a constant conversation. And as well as I do, that is an equation. It is a lot of things that equal the sum of the parts. And winning to me, like you've just described, is more let's look at the sum or the equation and decide where can we win? How can we win? And not make it so hard. We make it hard.
Yeah.
We make it really
We do.
hard. We make it really hard. And it not only makes it hard, but then it gets stressful and you have heart palpitations over all the wrong things. And it's a challenge. And small businesses as a whole, we're risk takers anyways. And so we're immediately going to have heart palpitations because we are risk takers. But why give yourself a heart attack, right? So that's kind of the whole thing I think of and I think about is that we do. And part of the pivot that I believe is definitely in our future is that we're going to decide what we can do really well and what others can help us that do it better than we do. I believe that is absolutely part of our future. It's too complicated. There's too many moving parts. And our legacy industry, which by the way, they laid the way, we stand on their shoulders, gave us
Completely.
the foundation to move forward. It is our opportunity, however, to look at what we do, how we do it, why we do it, and also look at how we can be innovative with our foundation. We can't leave it the same. Somebody's going to come and eat our lunch. Let's just be honest.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's going to figure it
Yeah.
out. And we, as an industry, there are so many operators, small and large. We all matter. We all make up that piece that we contribute to the overall economy every day. And not necessarily one is less than the other. We all started somewhere, we all ended up somewhere else. And I love your personal journey, which is let's just win. Let's win. Let's make a winning strategy versus just have a strategy for the sake of having a strategy.
And then everybody can get on board with that and feel good. Because every time we set goals and we don't reach them, your team feels bad. They feel like they're about to get in trouble, or they're just like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. We didn't meet goal last time either. We've never met goal, and they don't ever do anything around it, hear about it. Like they don't really care. Goals are just because, like nobody takes them seriously if you don't actually fire and hire based on them. And so let's win for our culture. Let's win for the momentum, and let's shoot off way more confetti. It's fun. It makes people happy. I was playing the other morning. We had a training meeting, and I threw on. You remember that old song? Pink is my favorite
Yes.
color. So I put that up there, and I'll start blaring the music, and get everybody hyped up in the morning. But I'd never seen the music video, and I was like, "Oh shoot, crap!" When I start seeing things coming on screen, I'm like, "No, no, no, stop that!" But my point is, winning with even just let's just have happiness in the office. Let's win with that. Let's have music again. Let's do those kind of small wins, and then we can start bleeding that over into everything else that we do. But mainly, let's bleed. I mean, not bleed, but let's win with our numbers. Let's win with our efficiency. And you're so right. When it comes to our future is different. I think for too long, I felt like I needed to know the way to make everything perfect all the time in business. What systems should I be using? What technologies? What tools? But having the freedom to know that tomorrow is going to be different than today and that it is always evolving, that provides some great freedom.
Boy,
You know,
that's so powerful, Danielle. The freedom to know that tomorrow is going to be different than today. That is awesome. I mean, that is, and again, because both of us work with a lot of clients across the country and in Canada, I do feel that so many of them come with this narrow, locked idea of what they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to do it.
yeah.
All the time. All the time that's a conversation. And I will say, you would too, that there are some fundamentals you have to get right. I'll agree with that. That's just the way it is. However, there are more than one way to skin the cat when it comes to how you're going to drive this into the future. And goal setting, we're going to get shot. Is
Yeah.
goal setting really the way to do it? When in fact, it's just a winning strategy. So it might be the incremental changes that make you different or make you more successful, more happy, more, I should say, innovative in how you're going to drive your business for the future. So,
Mhm.
well, listen, great message today. I think that your personal journey can be very helpful to many others. It's inspiring. I can see that on a stage somewhere sometime. I think you need to structure that conversation. And we want you to come back. So listen, how can our audience get a hold of you guys? Tell everybody how you can get a hold of you.
Yeah. thenewflatrate.com. You can email me anytime as well, Danielle at thenewflatrate.com. And we'd love to talk, to chat. And can I give a shout out too? I've got some friends that launched a neat business today. It's called Trade Jobs, gettradejobs.com. And so if you're looking for help, looking to hire technicians or anything in the industry, or if you're a tech and you're looking for a new job, gettradejobs.com. They just launched today. So I thought that'd be cool to
Oh,
give them a shout
really
out.
exciting. By the way, have you heard of Dennis the Apprentice?
No?
It's a podcast. So
Oh, okay.
it's very relatable to gettrades.com or gettradejobs.com. It's about the well-being of an apprentice. Everything from your family life to your health, to your education, to your technical skill. Dennis
Neat.
Hammond out of Seattle, Washington launched it. And check that out too. That's another one to go check out if you're in that
I
space.
will. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, Danielle.
Cool.
Thank you for tuning in to Transforming the Trades. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained some valuable insights and tips for your trade business. If you found this podcast helpful, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to check out our website where you can find additional resources and information to help you grow your business. Until next time, keep innovating and take charge of your success.